What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about a bunch of great Nintendo Switch 2 RPG news and a bit more. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to start off with Persona 3 Reload. We got a message from the directors, from the producers of the game, and what they're excited about, some tweaks that they made, the cool art that they did, the new art for the title and everything. So let's just go ahead and jump into that. Then I'll get into what makes this game exciting and some of my concerns. So let's just start off here with Kazuhisa Wada. He is the general producer at P Studio, and he states that we are thrilled to finally deliver the first Persona game on the Nintendo Switch 2 to everyone. On behalf of the entire team, we are excited for more players to experience Persona 3 Reload through this opportunity. I believe there are many people interested in the Persona series who aren't sure where to start. If that's the case, I highly recommend beginning with P3R. The story is standalone, meaning you can start with this entry in the series. It's a tale that will leave a lasting impression. Please experience it on Nintendo Switch 2. All right, next message comes from Yoshihiro Komori. He is the director of Persona 3 Reload for the Nintendo Switch 2 version, and he says, "I'm Yoshihiro Komori, director of the Nintendo Switch 2 version. This is a title that even those new to the Persona series can enjoy without worry. Please give it a try. My involvement with Persona 3 started 20 years ago when I wrote the English lyric for the in-game track Burned My Dread." Fantastic track, by the way. "As we grow older, we gradually equip ourselves with various personas, masks of the heart. Over the last 20 years, I too have worn many masks. This story is a journey to confront the true heart behind those masks, a tale of facing unforgettable regrets and fear that cannot be erased. I hope this reaches all those who are struggling to live or lack the courage to face adversity. Persona 3 Reload on Nintendo Switch 2 is for them." All right, the last message here is from Azusa Shimada. He is the character designer of Persona 3 Reload. And he says, 1.5 years after the game's initial release, I'm delighted to share the news of the Nintendo Switch 2 version announcement with my new illustration. This time, I've taken a slightly different approach compared to previous promotional artwork, showcasing an urban and cool aesthetic with bold red accents and dynamic battle poses. While working on this, I listened to the battle BGMs, It's Going Down Now, and Don't on loop, bending blue and red in visualization for an enjoyable creative process. I pay particular attention to textures and key elements such as the jacket and the evoker, so if you get a chance, please take a closer look. That's one thing that I really noticed with the jackets and like the reds and the breaking, the crystallization. It looks super cool. I hope this fresh artwork resonates with viewers and brings Persona 3 Reload to even more people, which I'm pretty sure it will now that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. People have been waiting to buy it on a Nintendo platform. Now, there are some concerns. If you go on the Twitter thread, you'll see people complaining about the game key card situation for this title. Now, this isn't a $70 or $80 game. It's $60, so it makes it a little bit better, but the DLC is not included. So if they would have included that DLC, I think things would have been a little bit better. So that's a concern that people have had with keycards and not including the DLC after 1.5 years that the game's already been out. On top of that, there is some concern over what the frame rate is going to be on the Nintendo Switch 2. Some people are saying, hey, look, it looks like 30. Some people are saying it's not confirmed yet. Could be that. There could be performance modes. We just don't know. So those are some of the concerns that have been brought up about this game. And we'll see once the final release is ready to go this October. The game is coming out late October, so we'll see about that. But I'm looking forward to playing it. I did put a lot of time in on the PC version, so I didn't even have a real or regular full disc-based version of the game beforehand. I just had it on PC. Atlas did give me a review code for that, so I'm going to be picking it up and playing it because I think that it's a really enjoyable experience when you can play it docked on your TV in addition to portable as well. Persona just lends so well to portable play considering the type of game that it is, so I will be playing it on the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know if I'm going to be getting it just digitally or just getting the key card yet. I'm kind of unsure, but I'll be playing it on Nintendo Switch 2 one way or another. So what do you guys think about Persona 3 Reload and what the design and what the developers had to say about the Switch 2 version? Let me know in the comment section below. But before we get into the next topic, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my vids as soon as they drop. And let me know what RPGs you're looking forward to playing this year on any platform in the comment section below. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next topic, and that is Square Enix and what is happening for the rest of 2025. Stealth over on Twitter talked about their multi-platform strategy, which is in full effect, and Square Enix recently had their investor meeting where they laid out what they plan on doing. So they talk about the digital entertainment, HD games. Net sales are down year on year on lower sales of new titles, but profits are up on lower development costs and advertising expenses. Now, let's talk about what they have here, because we know about some of these games already, and we know that there's some games upcoming. So we already have Bravely Default's Flying Fair. We have the HD remaster. That's a fantastic game already. That already launched. Seems like it's doing okay. It was in the top 10 of the NPD Nintendo charts overall. You look at Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remaster. We have that on October 30th, 2025. Then you also have Octopath Traveler 0. That's going to be a big one on December 4th for the Nintendo Switch 2. Romancing Saga, that recently launched and was in the top 15 or so best sellers. The upgrade pack, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, that is a fantastic game that was held back a bit by some crusty-ish frame rate and resolution on the Switch 1. It is significantly improved, 60 FPS and 1440p on the Nintendo Switch 2. Faster loading. I highly recommend picking up a physical cartridge of that game on Switch 1, then upgrading it using the Nintendo Switch 2 eShop. I think that will be a great experience to play anywhere that you want. You also have Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade as well. That is also going to be another massive release for the Nintendo Switch 2. There is a lot riding on that game when it comes to the perception Square Enix is going to have with Nintendo fans buying major Final Fantasy, so I will be picking up that game, and of course I'll be releasing several videos leading up to the release of that game, and once the game comes out, we'll be playing it and all of that. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to kind of see and break down how that game does overall. And then of course, Final Fantasy Tactics on September 30th, 2025. Square Enix is focused. They are honed in on what works overall. They are working the RPGs, they are working the smaller to bigger range games, they're getting stuff out multiple platforms. I think they're doing a good job so far. These are the type of games that I know Square Enix for, that I knew Squaresoft for, that I knew Enix for, and they're getting back to kind of focusing on what's going to do well, but then expanding just a little bit here and there. I love the HD 2D expansion. Stuff like Octopath Traveler 0 is fantastic, repurposing that mobile game, bring it out on all platforms. Romancing Saga getting a Switch 2 edition out, that definitely needed it. Final Fantasy Tactics finally getting that out, and of course Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, in addition to The Adventures of Elliot, which is another great Zelda type HD 2D game that has a demo right now on the eShop, and it's fantastic. So Square Enix doing good, and we'll see what happens going into the end of this year and 2026. So what do you guys think about Square Enix's plan for the rest of the year and the future? Let me know in the comment section below. But let's go ahead and jump into Trails in the Sky first chapter. We've got the official trailer, another look at the game. It's coming out this September, and I can only hope that they have something when it comes to an uncapped frame rate for the Nintendo Switch 1 version of this game, because they still have not announced a Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. So far, we just got PC, PS5, and the Nintendo Switch. But let's take a look at this trailer here, and it says, flip through the pages of the iconic Trails series to where it all began with Trails in the Sky, first chapter. This stunning remake imagines the beloved classic with new breathtaking visuals, refined gameplay, and the first unforgettable adventure across the Liberal Kingdom. Join Estelle Bright and her adoptive brother Joshua as they embark on their journey as junior bracers, determined to climb the ranks of their renowned peacekeeping guild. What begins as a straightforward mission to prove their worth quickly evolves into a gripping adventure of intrigue and peril as they unravel a conspiracy that threatens the very heart of their homeland. You got a bunch of key features too. We got to talk about this captivating world. You can lose yourself in countless hours of adventure across Liberal Kingdom as you progress through an elaborate storyline like no other. Every interaction is tailored to your unique progress in the game, from supporting characters all the way to NPCs. Modern gameplay mechanics experience seamless gameplay with the choice of traditional turn-based combat or all-new real-time action combat to suit your style of adventure. Revamped localizations experience the story in a new light with carefully refined translations in English, German, and French. You've got new voiceovers in English and Japanese. Trails in the Sky characters come to life with brand new voiceovers in English and Japanese and enhanced HD visuals. Immerse yourself in the stunning world brought to life with vivid, high-definition detail. Experience the story that redefined the JRPG genre and set the Trails series on its legendary path. Trails in the Sky first chapter is due out for the PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch 1, and PC via Steam on September 19th worldwide. So worldwide release for this as well. It's looking really good. The graphics look fantastic. People thought that it might not even be the Nintendo Switch 1 when they first showed off the game. That's how good and a jump up above what we usually see from them. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to the game. But I need them to confirm that there is going to be like dynamic resolution with the Switch 1, and there's also going to be uncapped frame rate. So if we play this on the Nintendo Switch 2, we're going to get that overall. So we'll see what happens, or maybe if there's a Nintendo Switch 2 version, but I don't want to wait to be able to play it that way. So I'm just hoping something works out because September is coming up pretty soon here. So we'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to playing the game. I'll pick it up on the Nintendo Switch 1 and play it on my Nintendo Switch 2, regardless of how things go, just because this type of game portability play, especially 100-hour RPGs with all the content I like to complete as much as possible in my games, I'm going to need that portable so I can play it anywhere. So what do you guys think about this trailer here? We're getting closer and closer to the September 19th release. You plan on picking it up on any platform? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here. We're going to be discussing Borderlands 4. We got some Amon gameplay overview. Get to know Amon, the Forge Knight. So publisher 2K and developer Gearbox Software have released Amon gameplay overview trailer for Borderlands 4. Here's some more details on this. If you love running headfirst into battle, soaking up damage and dishing it out in equal measure, you do well to check out Amon. In addition to being a resilient frontliner, Amon has a mechanically complex set of action skills with primary and secondary functions that leave room for experimentation, even with the most experienced players. In Amon gameplay overview, you can watch Amon tear his enemies asunder with an arsenal of Forge weapons, which take form via the Forge drones stored within Amon's cybernetic enhanced beefcake body. Amon can attack or defend as needed, ready to pulverize enemies with a Forge hammer, slice them in two with Forge axes, soak up damage with the Forge shield, and much, much more. Borderlands 4 is due out for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam and Epic Game Store on September 12th, followed by the Switch 2 on October 3rd. So I'm not so sure about the Switch 2 version, guys, just because 30 FPS with some dips, according to Ranji Pitchford. This type of game, you might need 60 for it as a first-person shooter with multiplayer elements. But for those who want a portable Borderlands experience to be able to play all that content that it offers, I think that the Switch 2 version would be nice. And if there's cross-play or more like cross-save and progression, you can start on the PlayStation or Xbox and then move over. But that has not been confirmed yet, so I don't want to sit there and say that there is cross-play and cross-progression with the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. I just think that it would be nice if you have that cross-save, because then you can get it on PS5 or Xbox or PC, and then you can play it portably on the Nintendo Switch 2 if you want. So yeah, the game's looking pretty cool overall. I'm not the biggest Borderlands fan, but I did play the games. I've played most of them overall, and it's looking pretty cool with this one. So what do you guys think about Borderlands 4 and what they showed off here, in addition to all the other games that we talked about? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.